Hey, welcome back to Unification Inside, where I share my 3 decades of being a twin flame, much of it without having the term twin flame and knowing what was going on in this weird soul connection and this strange relationship. So, what I want to talk about in this video is what the awakening process was like for me when I got my full spiritual awakening and the twin flame phrase as a download. A lot of people stumble upon it online, but that was not what happened to me. So I think it's kind of maybe an interesting story because it's a little unique. And then also I got it 26 years into my journey. So that's also unique, I'm finding out. Most of the people that are awakening to being twin flames, or a lot you watching this video, probably are younger than I've even been on this path. So I'm realizing that this is my strength to share my journey because I've been through so many layers of separations and unions, and I've done so much healing. So if you're stuck in the weeds of freshly breaking up with this person, I definitely have a lot of insights here in all my different videos on how to work through that. Hopefully you can get to union with your twin quicker than I did. So, thanks for swinging by. All right, I'm going to talk about my spiritual awakening for a second, and then I will talk about what I've come to realize after doing all the research for the last few years. Mine was, I wouldn't even call it a tower moment, but this was, I do a reading every morning for myself, a 3-card reading, and these are the ones that popped out today. So I thought, wow, that's actually a perfect example of what I've been doing for the last couple of years. So that's why I decided to go ahead and make this video. So the tower is not necessarily how I would have, tower tarot card is not necessarily how I would have picked out my spiritual awakening and how it happened, but at the same time, it's a perfect metaphor for it. If you know anything about the tarot and the tower card, you know that it's a lightning bolt of either inspiration, a mental breakthrough, a huge epiphany that changes your entire foundation of life, or it's an event that happens that throws you off course and shows you where the cracks in the foundation are. That's the general reading, interpretation of the tower tarot card. And that's definitely what happened to me. I was actually doing, and you might have heard this, I think I've talked about it in one of my other videos on this channel, but what happened to me was I was going through a few years of trying to rebuild and pivot my career. I was trying to get out of what I've been doing for a really long time and build a new foundation or new career on that old foundation. And it wasn't working, and I knew it wasn't working, and I was following my gut, and I was, there was no logical reason really of why it wasn't working. I was doing all the things I knew that I should be doing, and I'm smart and capable, and I've already built a business before, so there's no reason why I can't do it again. All that stuff. So I did a deep dive. I'll be honest, I did psychedelics, like to get into a really meditative state and peek behind the veil to see what was it? What was holding me back with my career? What in the world was going on? I mean, I knew there was some reason for it. But, it made no sense. I was spending time, money, energy, thinking about it, planning. I mean, everything I could do to build this new business based off my old business. So the interesting part about that, which was what the tower moment was I was actually staring into a candle during my trip, and the phrase immediately, it was like a download, but it was almost a passing thing that I could have missed anyway, they said, my guides, my higher self, with a peel behind the curtain, said nothing in my life is working, like nothing, not just the career, nothing. And they kind of listed out all the things. Nothing in my life was working because I wasn't with my twin flame. And it was like a record skipping, like, wait, what? I did not expect that whatsoever. That was not something that I was thinking about. I'd never heard the term twin flame before, ever. And, long ago, I had given up on this person. I mean, he's married and that's it. Like, the best I can hope for is to repair our friendship, which we've done over the years. So that was interesting, and that was definitely a tower moment. And it definitely, then the whole trip gave me my spiritual awakening. I saw how the fabric of the universe works and how our souls are connected. And I saw actually the red string of attachment from my heart to his. I knew it, even though I'd never heard the phrase twin flame before, I knew exactly who it was and I knew exactly what it meant. It, like I said, it was like a download, or less of a download and more of a, like something I already knew. And I always knew this was my person. There's a reason I'm not married. I've never found anybody I wanted to settle for. He's made his choice and that's it. I just do the best I can, dating other people and whatever. So this was definitely a tower moment. I was not expecting that to be the reason why my career was not working. So the reason it's a tower moment is that I was building an unshaky foundation. My old career, which technically I'm still doing, that I was trying to build this new foundation on top of, I wasn't passionate about it anymore. I was sort of done with that part of my life. I just picked it because it was something I knew really, really well. I know the customers, I know the client journey, I know the sales process, I know the industry, but I'm not passionate about it anymore, which is why I wanted out. So it was a shaky foundation for me. So this tower moment was very interesting, my spiritual awakening. I mean, obviously my psychedelic journey that day was way bigger than just this and just the twin flame thing, but that was one of the biggest takeaways. What it really did for me was validate all the decades of knowing that this was my person, knowing that we had some sort of soul connection, knowing that we had some sort of synchronicities. I'd noticed those, none of the number synchronicity garbage that you hear online, 1111 and all that crap. Way bigger than that. I had noticed those over the years, as big road marks of like, man, this guy is not going to leave my life. Which is why I've worked on repairing our friendship. And actually, before I did this trip, this psychedelic journey, I actually had seen him in person like 6 months prior. And so it's not so. Anyway, I look back now and I see the orchestration of it. I'll just leave it at that. I see how the divine is very creative. So anyway, that's how I got my download. Everyone gets theirs in a different way. I've said this in most of my videos that if you found all the twin flame stuff through tarot readings and astrology and blogs and elephant journal and thought catalog and all that, and then you're looking for your twin flame, that's not how it works, and just stop. You're probably not a twin flame. I would say you're not, and that's not how this works. I'll just leave it at that. Most of us that are actually twin flames, we are searching for reasons why. We are searching for reasons why this person's different. We're searching for reasons why we've dated other people. We've moved on. We've gotten over everybody else. But this person keeps coming back. The universe keeps shoving them in our face. Blah, 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 blah. Plus all the mirroring, healing stuff that you talk about, that they talk about. But I don't even want to get into that because I think that's also misleading and incorrect information being peddled online. I'll just say that those of us that are on this journey that are really dealing with this for real, it's not puppies and rainbows. It's not a Hollywood ending. And it's not that it's so painful. It's not as painful as they say it is, or that it comes across. It's not quite as painful, but anyway, that's a different video, I guess. So with my tower moment and me finding this in a download, in a meditative state, really is what it was. It broke open everything for me. I finally had a reason why and a name for what I had gone through. And more importantly, a few days, I mean, I knew what it meant and who it was immediately. There was no doubt in my mind. I just was like, oh, okay. Wow. All right. That's why my life's not working. Oh, I didn't realize that I should be trying to get that. And so I journaled, and I went down and I went within for the next couple of days and integrated my psychedelic journey. And then a few days later, I decided to Google the phrase to see, like, is this an actual thing that other people are dealing with? Wow, okay. And I Googled it, and there we go. I find all the information online, right? Go down the rabbit hole, and I sift through all the blogs, and I bounce off everybody's videos because they're all garbage. But that's probably how you found me. You just kept watching and watching and watching, just desperately trying to find one person that was actually saying something that you could resonate with. And so that validated me. Getting the phrase, that's really all it did for me. I'm not attached to the phrase necessarily. I'm not attached to all the stories and all the steps and the stages and all the how do you know it's your twin flame checklists and all that nonsense. That's all just humans trying to categorize other humans, which is actually the exact opposite of the point of a twin flame and also a spiritual journey and a spiritual awakening. One of the things that a spiritual awakening does is it, if you have it and you have the ego death and you get to peek behind the veil, what you realize is that we are all one. We are all connected. We are all, like, think about like a soup. We are all in the same broth. We just look different. Somebody's a noodle, somebody's a carrot, somebody's a celery, somebody's a pea, somebody is a spice or an herb, somebody's a salt, somebody's a pepper. We're all in the same soup. We're all part of the same collective gunk, really. So that's my way of, my metaphor for what spiritual awakening shows me and shows a lot of us, is that we are all one. So that means I am one. I'm also one with my twin flame. I'm one with my parents. I'm one with my siblings. I'm one with everyone. You're one with everyone. So there's no us versus them anymore. And you see that we are all God. We are all, not that we are a God. We are, like, God is not a grandpa in the sky with a white beard judging us. That's not what God does. God is the broth. We are all part of that broth of the soup. So that's my weird explanation of enlightenment or spirituality in general. And it's hard to explain unless you've seen it and gone there and been there. But one thing that psychedelics and other things can do is that they can peel back your ego, and your ego goes and sits in a corner or in another room, and you get to go play. You get to go play as you were as a soul. That's basically what it does. So just, standard disclaimer, don't go chasing after psychedelics. I mean, I was 45 before I started doing them, and I'm very glad I never did them in high school. And I was, in a safe place with a safe person and a guide and all of that. And I was ready for it. I knew there was a blockage and I was looking for my blockage. So that's why, So anyway, just disclaimer aside that, they're not legal in most places too. So you got to be careful. Okay. Anyway, what it's happened since is what I want to talk about next. So I had my spiritual awakening, my enlightenment. I got the twin flame download, all of that at the same time, which was quite a lot. So I went into all the things. I have another video, which I'll link to at the end, about how I accidentally, I think it was about 2 weeks later, I opened my heart chakra, like it physically opened, and I did not even know about chakras, and I definitely didn't know you could have a physical symptom of something that happens when you do that. So check out that video if you're interested in that, because it was that same week or 2 weeks of after my enlightenment and getting the twin flame download and diving into all the spiritual awakening stuff. I had some time off work, so I just jumped right in, because also, hey, my career wasn't working, so what's more important than clearing this crap out? So what's happened since is basically this version of the death card. I like this tarot deck, this Gregory Scott tarot deck, because the version of death in this is so peaceful and tranquil. The way I look at the dark night of the soul, which is and I'm still in it, so you might sense that with some of the angles that I take in my videos so far, just sharing my journey and my learning about all the things, because I'm a deep researcher. I like to dive deep and don't just read one blog from one person and take that as a source. I'm very discerning. So anyway, this whole last couple years has been basically a dark night of the soul, where everything that needed to be stripped away has definitely been stripped away. I've lost pretty much, not physically everything. I still have my house and my health and all of that, but it's been a clearing out of this foundation. So if you take this together and you look at this tower, and let's say there's a big earthquake or a lightning strike or something, you have to actually remove all that rubble that's left over as well. So one thing that I'm doing is I'm cleaning out all my old taxes and all my old supplies for my old job. I'm throwing them out and selling them off and getting rid of everything. So the reason I like this death card as a metaphor for the aftermath of spiritual awakening and the path to enlightenment, is I think about especially the twin flame journey and all the healing that we're forced to do, that normal people aren't forced to do. What I think about is another metaphor is gardening. I think about if you dig out a plot in your yard and you're ready to put something new there, you absolutely have to go down deep and dig out all the roots of all the dandelions and all the weeds. And you have to really get your hands dirty and really till that soil. And you have to go inches deep. You can't just hand pull things because those roots are still there. If you hand pull things, you're just going to get more weeds. That's what happens with spiritual bypass. That's also what happens if you try to get in another relationship right away after meeting your twin flame. You're just putting a band-aid on it, basically. So I love this version of the death card in tarot because you really have to go in and till the whole garden, inches of the garden. You have to go down with a fine-tooth comb and find every single last root of every dandelion. Pull it out. Then put down. Then you have to learn energy tools, and I look at that as a landscape fabric. Put that down to protect you from all this other gunk coming back. So now I feel invincible. I've done all that. I've gone through our past lives. I've gone through our karma. I've gone through our ancestral lines. I've gone through, and I have a playlist here that I'll link to for healers that I trust, that I've worked with, and some of the tools that really help me balance my chakras and things like that. There are a couple legitimate sources online that you can see what resonates for you and leave the rest. But follow your own soul. Your own soul, you might be in a different point in your journey, so you might need different tools than I had. So anyway, I've tilled my garden fully. I spent the entire 2020 going through with a fine-tooth comb, pulling out everything that was holding me back in any possible lifetime, any possible chakra, any possible aura, field, my etheric body, my mental body, my emotional body, my physical body. I've been into fasting, all of that. And then I've put down landscape fabric, and what that is learning how to have energetic tools so that I don't feel my twin flame's energy as much, or I don't get thrown off when I'm around family members and things like that. I have a bubble of protection around me for dark entities. None of that works on me anymore, which is an amazingly peaceful place to be, just like this card. So learning energy tools and learning how to do all of that stuff has been really powerful. Connecting with my guides, all of that. So that's, in my mind, landscape fabric that you put down after. And you can't plant anything until you do that work. If you try to plant anything, it's not going to work. That's where you get another tower moment. So this has been my journey so far. And now I have a choice to make. Now that I've done all this work and I feel so peaceful and I feel so calm, and I've cleaned up everything I can, I've done everything I can, now I can wait. That's one choice. I can date somebody else while I wait. That's another choice. I have lots of choices. So this Lovers card, this is showing that I'm balanced in my inner feminine. I'm balanced in my inner masculine. I'm balanced with my twin flame. I feel totally balanced. I've definitely dropped my end of the tug of war rope that is the running and chasing. I feel calm. I feel ready and every day you just feel more ready. That's what surrender feels like to me. Again, I have another video on what the layers of surrender there. But now I have a choice. What am I going to do with this? Am I going to sit around and wait for him forever? Am I going to force it? What's the next step, right? So this has been my journey. And this is where talking to your guides and merging with your higher self, you can actually merge more and more with your soul, which by default, you're merging with your twin flame soul because you share a soul. So anything you do for you, you're doing for them also. They feel it. So when I had this tower moment and I cleaned up all this crap and I became balanced, what do you think that did for him? It did the same thing in a different way. So it had to have. There's no other way because we share an energy field. We share, and I know from over the decades now that I know about chakras, I know that we've merged some of our chakras while we were in person. We've merged our soul even more because we've had all the 5D experiences, all the astral plane stuff. And telepathy, we had that early on, but it's bigger than that. Telepathy is easy. That's garden variety. You can have that with anybody. Or, people you're close to. So this has been my spiritual awakening. This is how I got my term, my phrase. And this is what I've done since I've become awakened as a divine being. I mean, really, that's what spiritual awakening is showing that you are not separate from God. You are God. We all are. We all are. One of my favorite little ways, I don't like the word God, but my favorite phrase is God spark. So that makes sense. I mean, just think about the odds of you being a human and existing on the planet and even being born. The odds there are against you. Yeah, and then to be a twin flame is even more rare. So I look at this as that it really helped to reframe my whole framework, not only in my life, because I was always very atheist, 100%. I was open to the occult, like tarot and stuff like that, but definitely atheist. And I did believe in past lives, but that's about the extent of it. So I never believed in God. So my spiritual awakening was not just the twin flame download. It was also being able to see what all these religions were trying to say, and they were doing it very imperfectly through mouths of human men for millennia. So I actually have a more of a patience for people who are religious, and I'm more understanding now. That's also been a foundation that I've had to clean up. But I've tilled my garden as much as I can, and now I'm balanced in myself, in my inner child, my inner protector, my inner mother, father. My chakras are all balanced. My aura is balanced. All my 5 energetic bodies are all balanced and cleaned out. No dark entities, nothing. But I'm still in this dark night of the soul where that's why I've started this new channel. My guides have definitely pointed me towards reading tarot for twin flames specifically, the actual twin flames, the energy, so that you can get into union and by basically having an authentic voice in this watered down niche on YouTube. So I hope this helps. Please leave me a comment below I want to hear how you got the term twin flame, how you knew it was your person. And what have you cleaned up so far? Any of those kinds of stories, I'd love to hear them below in the comments. It helps my channel. It's a free way to help my channel get found without having to share it, because the twin flame thing tends to be a very personal journey that we don't share with many people. So commenting and subscribing are free, an easy way to support the channel. Plus, I'm just curious, because as you know, if you're a twin flame, this is a very lonely journey. Normal people just don't understand, and you've kind of probably stopped talking about this stuff to people. So this is a way for us to build a community together and share our experiences together. All right, well, I hope that helps you understand what a spiritual awakening is in general, but also as a twin flame, and to hear about my journey since my awakening. And like I said, I was on this journey for like 25, 26 years before I ever got the term. And ever since then, what it's done is really validate what I already knew, and find more people to talk to, building friends that are twin flames, by being able to share our journey. Because you eventually will find real twin flames to be friends with. So I hope that helps. Please let me know, what part resonated, and if you've had a full spiritual awakening, because that's definitely interesting. Everybody, I always want to hear that from anybody. And then how you found the term. So thanks for watching, and I will link up to the video about the heart chakra opening here at the end for you to watch next. Okay, bye.